Okay, right, guys. So in yesterday's class, we discussed about some scenarios related to introduction of the database administration, and I discussed some points related to configuration part. In the same way, ticket related part also I discussed some points in the last session, right? But the ticket mechanism, what are the other teams will be there? What is the general hierarchy of the team? Something related to real-time scenario I'm going to discuss now. Suppose generally what happens, you are working with some client. Suppose here you have your client. So this is client place, for example. So whatever the databases and database servers you are going to work, they'll be there in this client place only. Right, and this is our client place. So coming to next scenario. You are from DBA team. So you are from DBA team. Suppose this is our account. DBA account. Here what happens, client will raise some ticket. What is the meaning of ticket? The error, whatever they are facing, that error, they're going to raise it as ticket. So if this ticket is related to DBA team, you are going to receive this ticket. Okay, now if this ticket is related to DBA team, then you are going to receive it. So how you are going to receive this ticket? For that, what happens, we are going to use some ticketing tool. You are working with the database administration support environment means some ticketing tool must be there. So generally, this ticketing tool is like your email ID. Of course, we'll get some more options and we'll get some more options also. So now, coming to next scenario. Like in the beginning, what is the process we are going to do? Generally, morning after going to office, morning or whenever your shift starts, you are going to log into your email, your system, of course, your system, then your email, your ticket to tool, everything you're going to log in. Right. And so what happens, in this scenario, different steps will be there in this process. Number one, you have to accept a ticket. When you accept ticket, you become, owner of the ticket. You becomes owner of the ticket. Number two, you have to start work on this ticket environment. Right. Number three, you have to resolve the ticket. Number 4, you have to close the issue. So this is the work you are going to do in this process. Okay. You are accepting ticket, then you're going to work on the ticket, and you have to resolve the ticket, then you're going to close the issue. So these are the different scenarios you're going to perform there. Right. So in this process, if this ticket is completely related to DBA, then no problem. You are only going to take care of everything. But sometimes what happens, not only DBA, we are going to work with the other teams in our environment. Okay. So not only DBA account, other accounts will be there. For example, here we have to work with application team and platform team. Platform team means Windows team. In the same, I'm sorry, network team will be there and storage team will be there. So different teams will be working with us. Sometimes we receive some tickets, but we cannot resolve them directly. I mean, from database end only, we cannot resolve those tickets. So in that case, what? In that case, we are going to take help from other teams also. By taking help from the other teams, we are going to resolve these issues. Suppose there is some performance issue. Performance means, actually I discussed clearly, speed, accessing speed of the databases comes under performance. Suppose there is some of a performance issue we are facing, we means user is facing, they raise a ticket. Okay. In this scenario, you accept a ticket and you are checking, you are working with the ticket. But everything is fine from database end. From database end, everything is fine, working fine. But still, issue is there. So what to do and how to do? Right? And so coming to next step, you found that there is some issue with the network because of slow network, some other issues. You are facing this issue in our database environment. So what to do? Can you do something related to network? You cannot, because you are from DBA team. So you don't know anything about network, right? Suppose you know about network, but still you cannot resolve scenarios related to network because you will not get any credentials. You will not get any credentials related to network. That's my point. That's why. So to resolve this issue, what to do? You have to work with the network team. So these are really important scenarios when we are working with ticketing environment, support environment. And we have to coordinate with other teams. Sometimes we are going to help other teams also. Suppose the application is there. Application is facing some connectivity issues with the database. But from database and everything is fine. But still they will ask you. They need your support. You have to support them. Right. So maximum tickets, what happens, we are going to resolve from our team only. But sometimes what happens, we are going to work with other teams to resolve the issues. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes it is related to you only. Sometimes it is related to other teams with you, with your team. Okay. So these are the things we have. This is the process of the ticket, how the ticket comes, who is going to raise the ticket, how it comes. Okay. So ticket to tool concept is important here because here communication purpose. Regarding tickets, you have to communicate with your client side people, right? So how you are going to communicate with the client side people means by using ticket tool, right? And something required for us to communicate with the client. So you can go with the ticket tools. You can go with the office communicators, but generally office communicator, they will not be there, and only our team, our office members will be there. Right. So sometimes you can go for audio calls, video conference, we call it as audio conference, we call it as video calls, audio calls, everything will be there. So long back video call, audio call means WAP operates like that. But nowadays it's quite common, right? Every day we are using WhatsApp, and in our personal life. Personal life maximum we are going for video calls, audio calls. The same thing will be there in the real time also. You don't need to worry about that. But tool is going to change. WhatsApp is personal purpose. But official, when you are working with office, generally in our office, what we are doing, we are going to work with Microsoft Teams, right? Microsoft Teams we are using for internal chatting purpose. I mean, internal communication, internal voice message communication purpose, right? In the same way, audio calls purpose. In the same way, video calls purpose. These are all we are using same Microsoft Teams only, right? And here I'm talking about tickets only. Sometimes some organization, they will call it as incident management also. But it is ticketing, same ticketing, some companies will call it as incident management. And so different companies maintains different tools. I'll give you some tools names also. Remedy is the famous tool for ticketing purpose. HP OpenView, some oldest tools also there, and Oracle CRM MOD. In the same way, Salesforce, right? Even some companies, what they do, they will use this Outlook, Microsoft Outlook as their ticketing tool. That is also there. Okay. But anyhow, this is for communication purpose. Here you can ask, sir, we can use our email. See, email options are not enough for ticketing purpose. Because that's why I clearly explained what we are doing with the ticket. When you receive ticket, you have to accept ticket. Some accept button will be there. When you accept a ticket, you become owner of the ticket. And this is two-way communication. See, you accept who raised the ticket raised by the client. Who accepted ticket, DBA accepted ticket. Right? And so whatever the updates there, right? Whatever the findings there regarding the ticket, what are the updates there regarding the tickets, everything we are going to post in that case notes. Ticket notes will be there. Incident notes will be there. There only you can update everything. So this facility we cannot get with our regular emails, right? And regular emails means please don't feel like your personal email ID like Gmail and all, right? And you are working with some organization means you'll get official email ID of the company, right? I'm talking about that. Because we cannot use our personal email IDs in real-time environment. No doubt at all. Not at all acceptable, right? Okay, na? That's why. So it's somewhat different scenario. Ticket to tool. Of course, it is for inbox, outbooks, sending messages, coming, receiving messages, incoming and outgoing kind of scenarios only, right? And but still, what happens? Some special scenario. It is something different. I'll try to show you some pictures, but because direct installation and configuration of the ticket to tool is not at all possible. And okay, na? Ticket to tool means customer relationship management related, right? So that's heavy scenario. We cannot show that. Even we cannot build and show in our practice environment. Okay, like how we install SQL. Okay. Installation of the SQL we can do, but that's not possible. That's why I'm giving you this much of information on that. But definitely, I'll show you some pictures of the ticket tool, how ticket comes. I mean, when you accept a ticket, how the screen will be in ticket tool. Those things I'll show you pictures. Okay, I can do that. I can take snaps and I can show you in the class. So coming to next scenario here. Fine. So in this mechanism, I mean, in this process, there is some diagram. Take some example. We'll take some example of the ticket and we'll discuss that point so that you'll get more clarity what you are going to learn in this training and what you are going to do in your regular job, right? And for example, your client, step one, your client is facing issue with the query. What is the issue? Query is taking long time. So generally we call this query as long running query. Very important points I'm discussing. Please listen carefully and please. Query is taking long time for the execution. So in our environment, generally we call this type of issue as long running query issue. Fine. So they raised a ticket. Okay. So you accept ticket, quite common scenario that is. Coming to next scenario, in this process, you are accepting ticket. You are accepting ticket means you're going to resolve the issue. Remember that point. After accepting ticket, you become owner of the ticket. That means you are responsible for that ticket resolution, no doubt, right, Andy? Here is the key point I'm discussing. So forget about resolution. Next steps I will discuss. Okay, don't worry about that. But here I want to discuss some point. So you want to resolve this issue. This issue is related to query. Who is going to write queries? Who is going to develop the queries? Yesterday I discussed it. Some new people there in the class today, but that's why I'm discussing this point again. Generally, queries development, programs development, stored procedures development, joins, these are all will be done by development team. Right? And because in production, we cannot make any changes, any modifications to the database. You cannot make any changes. So you are not writing query because you are DBA. But you are resolving issues related to query. That is your duty. Because you will be there in the production environment. You are going to deal with client side people, users, customers. So some developer developed a query, that query is used by the users in the production environment. They are facing issue, you are going to resolve. That's what happening, right? In this case, if you know something about query, you can go for efficient resolution. Right, Andy? But some people, we feel like we are DBAs, why we need queries knowledge, why we need to learn queries. You're DBA, absolutely. But you're going to resolve issues related to queries, stored procedures. At least you have a basic knowledge of the queries, basic knowledge of the stored procedures. And coming to this ticket, basic knowledge of the query, if you have, then only you can resolve this. There is some issue with the query, you doesn't know what is query, then how can you resolve this issue? And highly impossible. Because of that reason only, in this course, what I'm doing, we are going to work with some queries part also. I'm going to explain something, not complete Power SQL development only. Some part of the SQL development, whatever required for SQL DBA, that I'm going to discuss. Moreover, Monday onwards, evening 5 o'clock, coming Monday onwards, evening 5 o'clock, we are starting SQL Server developer batch. For SQL DBA participants, SQL Server free training we are offering. The reason is it's not commerciality or something. The reason is if you know SQL development, you can work efficiently in the DBA support environment. That's the only reason I designed like that. Okay, and coming to next scenario, you accept a ticket. After accepting ticket, you're going to work on this issue. Just some real-time example I'm taking, something you can understand, something you cannot. Because you are in the beginning of the training only, right? And if you are experienced, you are not going to attend the training, right? But I want to explain how the environment will be, just imagination kind of, because I cannot show you environment directly, right? Okay. So after accepting ticket, you have to check what is the reason for issue. You know one thing, there are many reasons for this issue. For example, index related issues, or sometimes deadlocks issues, sometimes blocking issues, queries blocking by the users, user operations. Sometimes what happens, less resources issues. Sometimes, network issues, etc. I mean, etc. in the sense temp DB, some other things also there. And so for this issue, we have many reasons. So here you have to go for RCA. RCA means what? Root cause analysis. What is the base reason for this issue? Why this issue occurred? What exactly happened in the database? If you can find out that, easily you can go for resolution. That is called real-time scenario. For example, query is taking long time for the execution, then you can suspect index-related scenarios. Suppose for user it is showing execution is going on, but execution is not complete. User executing something, some query, and for the user, him or her, whatever it. For user it is showing execution is going on, but it's not completing. Then you can suspect deadlocks and blocking issues. Right? So in the same way, long running scenarios, resources also sometimes creates issues. Resources means what? CPU of the server machine. Memory means what? RAM of the system, computer. In the same way, disk related issues. These are all. So these are all fine. Sometimes less slow network issue. There also you're going to face this type of scenario. So there are many reasons for the same issue, but little difference is there in the ticket environment. Query is taking long time, query execution is not completing. What is the issue? You have to understand that issue. How to understand that issue? You have to read error log. Error log will be there. You can use that error log to find out the exact issue, what's the issue is. In the same way, in operating system, in Windows operating system, event viewer is also there. I'm going to show all these things practically, not only discussing today. I'm going to work with all these things practically in the coming sessions, and don't forget. So error log, it is related to SQL Server. It shows maximum things. What is the reason for the issue? What happened? If it is not showing, you can go to event viewer. This is from operating system end. That means in this training, we are going to see some scenarios from operating system, Windows operating system also. Because we need some help from operating system end to resolve the issues. Not only for ticketing purpose, even sometimes what happens, you're going to work with configurations and monitoring configurations. Yesterday I discussed very clearly. Right, Andy? So configurations purpose also certain requirements will be there from operating system. Windows operating system. And so those things also we have to learn under this training only. Right. And now, so after looking at this error log, yes, you'll get clarity. Okay, fine. This is the reason for issue. Then you're going for resolution. Resolution of the issue. But here important thing is something you can go for a direct resolution. Something you have to get approval from the client. For example, there is some user. The user is executing query and user is facing some issues. User created himself some issues. Because of that, as other users are facing issues in the running same query. Then what we do, whatever the user blocking this process, we have to kill that user. Means we have to disconnect that user from the database. Then what happens? Automatically other users will get access to table and they can run the queries. This is kind of traffic jam because of some user. So you have to remove that user. You have to disconnect that user from the database. But directly you cannot do that. You just checked everything. You found that the user is the reason for the issue. But still, that resolution also. What is the resolution for that issue? You have to disconnect that user from the server. Killing process. Kill and. But what you need to do, some process will be there. Directly you cannot do that task. Directly you cannot do that task. So you have to find out the user details, operation details. You have to send them to client or client side people. You'll get approval. After that only you can kill it. So now how to communicate with the client regarding this information and getting approval? Ticket tool and ticket to tool. See, every ticket gets some ID and unique ID will be there for the ticket. When you click on that ID, automatically the complete information regarding ticket, even closed tickets also. Previously closed tickets also, if you click on ticket ID, ticket number, everything it shows clearly. And one more important point yesterday I discussed, maximum scenarios we are going to receive same tickets. That's what I discussed in the last session. You got some ticket means ticket header will be there. Ticket header means heading and. Okay, for example, long running query is the header. Somebody resolved, or you only resolved previously, but you forgot, or you are entirely new to this environment. Then you can search in the ticket tools with the same heading and long running query issues. It shows clearly what happened previously. What are the issues DBA team faced with this client? The same issue is there previously or not. If same issue is existing previously, what was the solution they provided? How they resolved issue? Suppose you only did it, you forgot. Yes, that also you'll get it here. This much of facilities will be there. Right? But only thing is you should know the process, you should know the subject. Subject means not theory and practical oriented scenarios required, because here everything is issue resolution. Configuration is also practical only. Lot of configurations we are going to do under database administration. I discussed yesterday, database administration is full of configurations and a ticket environment, right? And if you want to go for configurations, you need practical knowledge. After configurations, what happens? You're going to monitor them because you face issues. You configured something, so you face issues, right? There also you have to go for resolution, right? And that's why everywhere, every scenario, we need practical knowledge. That practical knowledge and the ticket process, everything's scenarios I'm going to teach in this training. You have to practice them. Okay. And coming to next scenario here, in this ticket process, I discussed yesterday, we have some SLA, service level agreement concept is that based on SLA, ticket priorities and ticket resolution timings also going to define. You are going to work accordingly, right? So if we are not resolving issue within the resolution time, what happens? Ticket will be escalated to higher officials in the team and client will escalate it. See, this guy accepted ticket, but is not resolving like that. They will escalate ticket to higher officials in the team. So better to avoid those type of issues. So if you want to avoid issues, what to do? You have to work hard, right? And coming to next scenario here, configuration related issues. Tickets I discussed. Tickets means you're getting the error from client end. But configurations you're only going to do, right? Configurations you're only going to do. You have to monitor them. For example, I'm sorry, you created some backup job. Job means what? Schedule task. You're going to schedule backups. You're going to schedule backups. So that means backup jobs you're going to create it. So in this scenario, you created backup job. After that, every day you have to monitor back whether backup job is executed successfully or not. This is called as monitoring job. Sometimes what happens, this job is going to fail. Job fails due to some issues. If job fails, you're going to resolve that issue. Right? It is not ticket, because ticket means you're getting error from the client, but here you are not getting anything from the client because you only configured it. You are only going to monitor it. If any issue you are facing in that configuration, you are only going to resolve it. That's my point. So in this process, we are going to learn everything here, but I have some questions. Of course, your questions also. For example, today, holiday, nobody is there in the office. Suddenly this job failed. DBA has to resolve this issue. Right, Andy? DBA has to resolve this issue. If you know job is failed, then only you can go for resolution. But you are not there in the office. Even nobody is there in the office. How to get that information? For this purpose, we are going to generate alerts. We are going to configure alerts by using database mail. You created this backup job, right? Inside backup job, we are going to configure some alert. If this job failed, what is the outcome of the job? If this job is failed, it should generate an email to DBA. Right, Andy? So if you get email, if you get alert, you can find out. Okay, at least you can recognize that there is some issue. So fatafat, you can connect it to server and database. You can resolve this. So here, how to do this task? How to configure alerts? How to configure database mails? What are the things required for doing this task? Even these things also we are going to discuss in this training. Everything we are going to discuss in this training, because overall scenario I'm creating, I want to start with the practical part and topic number one of the training from Monday. Because of that reason only, yesterday I given overall scenario. Today also I'm giving more technical scenarios overall. That's what I'm trying to explain today. Got my point? So we are going to implement these things practically. That means we are going to do that. I mean, we are going to start working with those things from Monday onwards. Even Monday onwards, 8 p.m. we are going to start SQL Server Database Administration. SQL Server Database Administration class. 5 p.m. we have SQL Developer. You please contact your training team. They will give you access to 5 p.m. SQL Developer class also. You can attend that class also. See, it's not mandatory for a DBA. Some part of the SQL Developer is very much required for a DBA. But if you have free time, attend it, yeah. You'll get some knowledge, right? What's the wrong with that? Nothing, right? Am I right or not? So these are all important scenarios. So every point and every scenario we mentioned in the training will be covered. And coming to next scenario, we have cloud SQL Server environment also. Azure Cloud, and from Microsoft Corporation, we have Azure Cloud environment. Azure SQL is also there. But Azure SQL is somewhat different. But basics of the Azure SQL, not complete training. I'm giving you clarity today only. SQL Server, I'll give you complete training. Developer, no doubt. SQL DBA, we are going for complete training. But Azure SQL environment, I'm going to show you basic scenarios like how to build instance of the Azure SQL, how to create database, how to do basic scenarios in the cloud environment, Those are all I'm going to discuss. That is what I'm going to provide in this training. So that's all about this training from my end. Please go ahead with your questions, please. Any questions from your end, please? If you have any questions, you can go ahead and you can ask. Hello?
Anyone, if you are having any queries, you can go ahead with Mr. Subesh technically.
And regular class will start from Monday 8 p.m.
Yes,
Hi.
anyone? Yes, Kumar.
Yeah, hi. So, what is the fees for the course?
Oh, kindly share your details. We'll be sharing with that. Kindly share your number and email ID.
Then Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is the course